What just happened? Hello, everybody. Ellie here for WhoCulture. And I just had to jump on as soon as I possibly could to talk about the ending of the reality war. Now, don't worry. Of course, my full ups and downs review is still going to be coming. Don't worry. It will be dropping tomorrow, Sunday. Obviously, there's a lot to unpack here and something major happened, so I'm going to cover that very quickly here, talk about my initial reactions to that, my thoughts on that. But fear not, the review is actually coming tomorrow. It just, give us some time, people. Speaking of time, if you haven't watched the episode yet, first of all, maybe don't watch this video because spoilers ahead, folks. But also, please avoid social media. I am shocked, I am baffled by the insensitivities of people. Honestly, there is so much on Twitter already. Within 5 minutes of the episode ending, it was all over Twitter. So if you want to avoid spoilers, don't watch this video until you've watched. Also avoid all social media. It's a little bit disappointing, not gonna lie, to see so many people spoiling things so quickly. Can we not at least leave an hour? Anyway, let's get back to the exciting parts, shall we? Well, actually, it's not exciting to start with. Let's start with the sadder part, and that is, of course, we now know Ncuti Gatwa has stepped away from the TARDIS. The saddest part about this is I feel like we only just met this doctor. We met this doctor in the church on Ruby Road. Well, we met this doctor at the end of the giggle, but this doctor's proper tenure started the church on Ruby Road, which was Christmas 2023. It doesn't feel like we've had enough time with Ncuti Gatwa as the doctor. Well, he's not the shortest serving doctor because obviously Christopher Eccleston only had 1 season. But I think the difference here is that Ncuti Gatwa had 2 seasons of 8 episodes, which were shorter. And so it really feels like we've not had very long with this doctor. And I feel like we were just starting to see these new layers of the character, really starting to get into this version of the character. And now he's stepping away. I also feel like because of the uncertainty surrounding the future of the show, in my mind, I kind of had already set my heart in that direction. I think I already had this inkling going in that this is where this episode was going to end. I think Ncuti Gatwa is this young up-and-coming actor. He's in high demand, and if a show is uncertain on their future, then you can't expect the actor to stick around as well. So I think I kind of already knew in the back of my mind that this was where the show was going to be going, where this episode was going to end. But it doesn't change the fact that it is very sad to see this doctor go, because it feels like we haven't had the chance to really get to know him. It is very, very sad. Now, I do have a quote from the official press release surrounding Ncuti's departure and some words from Ncuti himself. So this is what he had to say when he spoke about his regeneration. When you get cast, at some point you're going to have to hand back that sonic screwdriver, and it is all going to come to an end, but nothing quite prepares you for it. This journey has been one that I will never forget, and a role that will be part of me forever. There are no words to describe what it feels like to be cast as the Doctor, nor are there words to explain what it feels like to be accepted into this iconic role that has existed for over 60 years and is truly loved by so many across the globe. It is sad, but as I say, because we feel like we haven't had really that long with this character, it also feels really, really soon and sudden. Even though I've just said I was kind of expecting this to be the case, I don't feel that loss as much as I did when, say, David Tennant left. And that through no fault of Ncuti as an actor, but just through the sheer fact that we haven't had that long to really embrace this Doctor. We've had 8 episodes this year. We've had 1 Christmas special, 8 episodes last year. It doesn't feel like we've really, really, really got into the deep nitty-gritty of the character. And as I say, it felt like we were just starting to get there in these last few episodes, and now it's over. Now, what I will say was really lovely to see during this regeneration moment, or prior to this regeneration, was the return of Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor. It's become a little bit of a thing now for a Doctor when they're regenerating to have someone there with them for a past face to appear. 11 had Karen Gillan, or Amy Pond. I forgot her name then. My brain is full of too much stuff right now. Matt Smith had Karen Gillan returning as Amy Pond. You've had those flashes of people returning to help someone out during a regeneration. So it was really nice to see 15 have 13 step in there and walk him through it. And I really love the line that she gave there, don't go in fear, go with that lovely smile. And I like that we've returned to that sentiment of regeneration not being a scary thing, or it is a scary thing, but it's not the end. And we should embrace it and accept that we are going to step into a new life. So I really, really liked that addition there. I loved that her doctor kind of brought up those things that we as fans have sometimes pointed out. I love the you've redecorated, I don't like it. The comment on it being so big. I know there have been some comments on this new TARDIS and it being so vast and so big. And so I love that she kind of got those lines in there as well. But it was just so lovely to see that interaction between those two doctors and to have someone there to kind of send 15 on his way. And the regeneration itself looked slightly different to what we're used to. I suppose when 13 regenerated into 14, there was a bit more of a spark going on. But we've had a little bit of an expansion on what we now know as the revival version of regeneration to look like, with the orange glow. This was something else. I mean, it filled the entire space. All of space outside the TARDIS had this massive burst of energy. So I don't know whether that's going to mean something going forwards. Also, I have to say, I'm glad we have regeneration back as opposed to another bi-generation. I think if we'd gone in another bi-generation direction, I'm not sure that I would have been quite so happy with that. I think we need to be done with bi-generation now. I'll talk about bi-generation and what that means and the explanation we had for that in the review, in our discussions later on in the week. But for now, just in terms of what we saw here, I'm glad we've gone back to the kind of standard regeneration that we're used to. And it did look really cool. Although I do wonder how he didn't fall out of the TARDIS, because he was leaning so far forward. I was thinking, is he going to just fall into space? Of course not. That wouldn't have been a very elegant ending for 15, would it, if he'd just fallen out into space? And Joy just flashing there, watching on as a star. It was quite nice to have him there with Joy watching over him. That was a nice little touch and addition there. But again, I will talk more about those things in tomorrow's ups and downs and the further discussions of the episode. Now, the other thing that I know you're all waiting to hear my thoughts on, of course, is who he regenerates into. Billie Piper, absolutely not at all someone that I thought might be in the running for 15 to regenerate into. Now, it has just been pointed out to me as I'm recording this that the credits do not say Billie Piper as the Doctor. It just says introducing Billie Piper. So I don't know if that's going to mean something going forwards. I honestly do not know where this is going. I honestly have no idea what is going on in their minds that Billie Piper is the new Doctor. Or is she? I honestly don't know. So again, we have some more quotes here. So this is what Russell T Davies has to say on the whole situation. Billie once changed the whole of television back in 2005, and now she's done it again. It's an honour and a hoot to welcome her back to the TARDIS, but quite how and why and who is a story yet to be told. After 62 years, the Doctor's adventures are only just beginning. See, even he's saying who. So this... I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused. So we also have some words here from Billie Piper talking about her return, and she said, "It's no secret how much I love this show, and I have always said I would love to return to the Whoniverse, as I have some of my best memories there. So to be given the opportunity to step back on that TARDIS one more time was just something I couldn't refuse. But who, how, why, and when, you'll just have to wait and see." Interesting that she said one more time here, making me feel like we're not going to have an entire run of Billie Piper as the Doctor here, and this is going to be like a one-off thing that's happening perhaps for a Christmas special that might be coming. I have this suspicion that Billie Piper is not going to be the 16th Doctor. Or if she is considered the 16th Doctor, it's going to be a similar thing to like David Tennant as 14 or like the War Doctor, like a very brief appearance and then something will change. I just can't fathom how this works and how this makes sense. At this point in time, I have no theories. I honestly do not know. I need to sit with it for a while, see what people are thinking. But the episode aired less than an hour ago and I need some time to think. But of course, you guys want to know my reaction, so here it is. My reaction is, what, how, why, huh? The only thing I would say, and don't come at me, but it is worth pointing out here, that of course there is this whole question of the future of the show. And for the 60th, we had the return of David Tennant and Catherine Tate. And come on, we all know that the reason that was done was because it was going to draw people in. It was going to get the old fans who maybe were dwindling to come back in because David Tennant is their favourite Doctor. David Tennant is who they grew up watching. The dynamic between David Tennant and Catherine Tate was a lot of people's favourite dynamic. We all know why they did it. There's all these questions about whether it was successful, whether it was a good idea, and that's a debate for another time. But we know that it was done because it was going to appeal to the old fans and the new fans, and, you know, I can't help but feel like this is a similar situation here. As we've stated many times, the future of Doctor Who is a little bit uncertain at the moment. I do not think the show is dying. I do not think the show is going anywhere. There may be a delay, there may be a pause, there may be some decisions that need to be made and some conversations that need to be happening with regards to how the show moves forwards, but I don't think it's ending. What I will say is that this ending right here has definitely guaranteed that those who, or many who were going to give up after this, are now going to come back and watch. There is absolutely no question about it. It's the same thing. Billie Piper is she was the OG companion of 2005 revival. Russell T Davies literally states it here. She changed the whole of television back in 2005. We know what you're doing here. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not absolutely falling for it and I'm not intrigued and I'm not excited and I don't have a gazillion questions and it's exactly worked how you wanted it to. But it is worth pointing out that obviously they've done this because they know exactly what they're doing and it's got the hooks in and it's going to pull people back in or keep people around who might have otherwise decided to step away after this episode. And yeah, as I say, it's very sad to see Ncuti step away. I don't feel like we really got a chance to get to know his character properly, and it is a shame that he's stepping away and we kind of feel like it's too soon and he wasn't really given a fair chance as all the other Doctors were. As I said at the beginning, we do have an Ups and Downs review coming for The Reality War. It will be dropping tomorrow. That is Sunday. Sunday, the 1st of June. We will be dropping the Ups and Downs review. Obviously, we wanted to get this reaction to you as quickly as possible. I have to actually go and write the Ups and Downs, so bear with me. I'll be getting there. You'll see them tomorrow evening, UK time. They will be with you, so fear not. You'll hear all my thoughts, but I had to talk to you about this because what the hell is going on? Please let me know down below in the comments your theories. Let me know what you think is going to happen next. How is Billie Piper the Doctor? Is Billie Piper the Doctor? What is going on? In the meantime, I've been Ellie for WhoCulture, and in the words of River Song herself, goodbye, sweeties.